apparently we've got another Avengers movie after Secret Wars. What will this be about? Is it Kang Dynasty? Are they going to make Kang Dynasty? Let's check it out.
Looks like we're getting another Avengers movie from the Russo brothers, and that makes me feel really good about Avengers Doomsday, because clearly Kevin Feige is happy with what the Russo brothers have done to get them to do yet another Avengers film. Now, this could be a brand new Avengers film set in the new universe, or it could actually be a Secret Wars Part 2, which the Russo brothers did kind of hint at recently. What's going
And they
on,
did
Cosmic
hint
Crew?
about
Thanks for stopping by the channel today.
resetting
Obviously,
the
we got to
MCU.
dive into this new
Could that be
Avengers movie,
the first
report with
Avengers
the Russo brothers, and we have to talk about the Illuminati, because I think that actually could be kind of a main point of the new Avengers movie, regardless if it is a Secret Wars Part 2 or a completely new Avengers film. I think they'll probably have a big role for the Illuminati in both of these films. Let's go to what Alex Perez has recently said in his Q&A. Somebody asked if there were any cool tidbits that you might have heard about Avengers Secret Wars, and he said this: just the exploration of a two-parter. I can confirm through sources and evidence provided recently that the Russo brothers have another Avengers film that they're working on aside from Doomsday and Secret Wars. Based on their statements, there's a chance it'll involve splitting Secret Wars into two. So there's a chance of that. However, it could also be the next Avengers installment. Now, I want you to keep in mind what the Russo brothers, specifically Joe Russo, said very recently in an interview. He stated, and remember, this is after Avengers Doomsday. Yes, they've done some reshoots and such and might still be doing some, but basically after all the principal photography has wrapped and, you know, they're really far along with Avengers Doomsday at this point. He said that he's so glad that he got to work with Robert Downey Jr. again, and he looks forward to working with him 2 more times. So this could be huge. This could mean that, so they're going to split Secret Wars into 2 different parts, which, if they have this big grand story and there's a lot going into the story, split it into 2 different parts. Don't make one movie and rush it, right? Don't have it flawed because you're
don't rush all the villains
Then
together.
again, I think a lot of people might have an issue with sitting through an entire 4-hour movie. I would love a 4-hour movie, but I'd need an intermission in between to use the bathroom and get refills, etc. Right? It'd be hard to sit for a straight 4 hours. So
just do
splitting
the
it
Zack
into 2
Snyder.
different parts,
Make
giving
chapters.
all of these different characters more time to be explored, having them have their stories fully fleshed out, I think would be a really good idea. But Alex does talk about how it could simply be a new Avengers movie. And I think that would actually make a lot of sense as well, because we have heard that the Russo brothers are staying on past Secret Wars. They are staying on for the new universe, for the new chapter of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel Studios, he's already called this the Mutant Era. It's not officially dubbed the Mutant Saga yet, but he did say the next chapter is the Mutant Era. So it's heavily going to focus on the X-Men, but they're not just going to forget about the Avengers. Having an Avengers movie pretty early on in the new chapter of the MCU with the new universe would make a lot of sense, so they could establish that team. They're going to establish the X-Men. Why not establish the Avengers? Why not establish, I think you really do have to establish what's going on with the Fantastic Four, because they're from a different universe. They're going to be in the same one. It's all kind of necessary to kind of start establishing everything in the beginning. So that could simply just be the Avengers' new team. But I do have a really interesting theory based on something else that Alex Perez has said, and I was already thinking this before. Just based on how we know Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars is going to go, I was already kind of thinking that this is the way, this was the route that the Russo brothers might head down. So Alex Perez was also asked if there's going to be any changes made to the comic story runs and, you know, what they portray on screen. And I would simply say myself as well, not being an insider, but just knowing how it works, they never really adapt page for page what happens in the comics, right? It's always just their interpretation of it, a different version of it. Some things you do want to be, like, you want it to be exactly the same, but some things it has to be different because it's movies and we would know the entire story. And, It's just how it is. So some things will change, but this is what Alex said. The Black Priests, the Black Swans, and the Builders. Also, technically, we get a form of Illuminati 2.0, though they don't call themselves that. He did elaborate on this by stating they don't have a name, but literally the whole point is for you to look at them and be like, hey, it's Professor X, Illuminati reference. So the way he talks about this does imply that this is going to be some sort of a team. Not just like, oh, hey, we have random characters on screen that are fighting each other. And, oh my gosh, look, in one fight over here, it's Reed Richards. And the other fight over here, it's Professor X. It doesn't seem like that's how it's going to be. It seems like there's going to be an actual organization formed, and we are going to start to see these characters meet. And then you're going to be like, oh my gosh, wait, these specific characters are meeting. This is the Illuminati. What Alex is saying is, in the meeting, they're not specifically going to say, all right, Illuminati, we have gathered you here today, right? They're not going to call themselves that, but it seems like it's going to be, sounds like a lot of the Illuminati, or actually at least original characters from the comics are going to be in this, which I'm all here for, but I think they serve a very specific point. You might have heard my theory about this before, but I think depending on what happens in the new universe, they're going to basically be in charge of the new universe.
I will stop it there, but full videos in the description. All in all, I would not mind another Avengers movie after Secret Wars, but I'm thinking they reset the MCU after Secret Wars, all depends what happens, and then that's the next Avengers movie, or maybe them, the original Avengers, but maybe different actors playing them. So a different universe. But we need Kang Dynasty. We can't just push that under the rug. You know, because he's an important villain. And even if they recast him or whatever, make him a variant or whatnot, it'll work. But it just needs to be done right. Like Infinity War and Endgame vibes. That's all. Let's get it.